Seriously, that's how I feel when I'm reading stats about cameras. Extreme 50.6 megapixel full frame CMOS sensor, 5 frames per second continuous shooting and silent shutter mode, dual digit 6 image processor, 61 points, wide area autofocus including 41 cross type autofocus sensors with EOS ITR, AI servo AF3 AF configuration to 150,000 pixel RGB plus IR 25, 252 zone point expansion focus modes, ISO 100 to 6400 with expansion to 12,800, 30 frames per second 1080p video, magnesium alloy body, shutter durability rated to 150,000 cycles, doesn't weather resistance, 3.2 inch 81.1 millimeter clear view, 2 LCD monitor, approximately 1,040,000 knots. Oh my god. Okay guys, that was just one example of one of the cameras. Then here's the other one for the other camera, and then here's the other one for the other camera. Look at that one. That's a serious one right there. So what are we doing? I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. I can't. Peripheral illumination, chromatic aberration, distortion, magnesium. Sorry, I'm just not gonna do it like that. So what I wanted to do is keep it real about why I use what I use, why I use what I use, when I switch cameras. You probably have your own version of cameras that you bring to a job. I'm gonna talk to you about what I do in my jobs and what is my philosophy or my logic behind each of these choices that I have to photograph all my jobs. So I wanted to share that with you without the technical craziness, just normal, keep it real and easy. So let's take a look. Let's begin. I'm going to start with the Canon. Of course, I'm a Canon Explorer of Light, so obviously I only have Canon cameras, not to mention I love them, but this is, you could still use this video if you have equivalent with another brand. They all have pretty much equivalent models, but this is, I'm a Canon guy. I've always been and I always will be. So first one, the Canon 5DS. Okay, so Canon came up with this incredibly high megapixel camera, 50.6 megapixels, whatever. I'm not gonna talk about exact numbers because that's the point of these videos, not to get involved in the technical things, just to get involved in the logistics aspects of why you choose what you choose. When you do shoot a job, does it sound normal? Would you just pick up any camera and just shoot whatever's in front of you? Or is there a strategy to it? Is there something that you could benefit from choosing this camera versus another camera when you're about to do something, when you're about to shoot someone or something? So I think this is a video that I've never seen. I wish I would have seen this by other photographers. Nobody did it, so I'm doing it, or at least I haven't found it, but here I am doing it myself for you guys. 5DS. The 5DS camera is the highest resolution 35 millimeter camera that Canon has. They call it S because it's special, super, supreme megapixels. That's what the S stands for. This camera is really, it's really made for photography. It's not really made for video. So that's already right there, 50.6 megapixels or something like that, and very low video capability. It shoots video. I don't care. I'm not going to use it for video. When would I ever pull out the which one is the 5DS? Not this one. When would I ever pull out the 5DS versus the 5D Mark IV? Why would I use this when I'm about to shoot someone, or I should say photograph someone, when I'm about to photograph someone versus the 1DX Mark II? Well, here it is. The 5DS is when I know I'm going to be photographing for any kind of publication that requires a lot of cropping needs. So if I'm shooting for fashion shoot for some company or something, they want to put that on a magazine, which happens. I'm going to probably shoot it with a 5DS. Why is that? The 5DS allows me to take 50 megapixels of photographs, and if they want to crop it vertical, horizontal, they want to only crop a little piece of the image and blow that up into the ad, I have the megapixels to do it. No need for video here. This is purely a photography thing. So if I'm shooting something that's full body, like a full body shot, let's say I'm shooting anybody head to toe or close to head to toe, 5DS. Why? because if I decide later I want to do a tighter crop, I still have the megapixels to do it. I'm not going to choose my lowest megapixel camera, which is this one, to shoot something that I may potentially have to crop. So I think, do I want flexibility in this picture? If the answer is yes, 5DS, 50 megapixels plus 50 plus megapixels, flexibility in the crop, 5DSR, great. Another reason, I may not know what I might use the photos for. I may not know. I might submit them to a publication. I may not. I may just do something small, maybe do a small book out of them. 5DSR. If I don't know, 5DSR, okay? All right, when I have things under control, 5DSR. When the lighting is changing like crazy and I don't know what's happening, let's say you're shooting a wedding. At a wedding, you have all kinds of things can happen light-wise. It can go into darkness, it can go into brightness, you can go inside, you can go outside. When it's just like a mess of things, I change my camera. I do not use the 5DSR, okay? That's not a good choice for an ever-changing situation. When I'm under control, 5DSR. Flexibility, 5DSR. Cropping choices, 5DSR. Those are the two same thing. Let's move on to the next one. Now that we've covered the 5DS, now you know why and when I would pull this sucker out. Thank you, thank you. 5DSR. The 5DSR is this puppy right here, okay? 5DSR is the same camera as the 5DS. The only difference is this one has optical anti-alias filter cancellation. What does that mean? Actually, if you really want to know the nerdy part of it, if you have a single data, image data enters the filter, when it enters the AA filter, the anti-alias filter, when it hits it, it splits the data into two, and then as it gets further, it splits the data into four before it hits the sensor. What does that mean? It very slightly blurs the image. You don't notice it, you can fix it in post, but that's what an AA filter does. It kind of shakes it a little bit in order to remove chromatic aberrations or weird patterns. When you see photos with weird patterns, it can help get rid of that by just micro moving the data a little bit. In this camera, when a single point hits it, it splits it into two, and then the cancellation filter puts it back into one. One single data point hits the sensor way sharper, way sharper. The more you split the image data before it hits the sensor, the less sharp it will be. So obviously, if you want something with massive amount of detail to the highest level, 5DS R. R as in resolution, that's what they called it, R. Because it's even higher resolution in the 5DS. Same megapixels, but higher resolution because it has a cancellation feature for the AA filter. So that's what that R stands for, okay? Why would I use this camera? I would use this camera for photos just like the 5DS, except in this case, if small details are important, let's say I have a group shot with 10 people, and all 10 people are very important, okay? They're not just background, they make part of the story. I'm gonna choose the 5DSR, okay? It's gonna give me that extra crispness. It's actually quite a bit more detail than the 5DS, okay? If you ever look at a 5DS file and you look at a 5DSR file, you cannot believe the 5DSR. It definitely has a prominent high definition, high detail look to it. So if you're gonna be editing small eyes, or you want the eyes to really show up or something like that where that super high definition detail is important, 5DSR is my choice. I recently went to India and I photographed one of my favorite people in the world, Arbani, and I chose the 5DSR during a photograph that it's her sitting in one of the barrios or one of the neighborhoods in India, in Mumbai. And then I had a lot of the neighborhood people left and right of her basically be a part of the image. They were part of the story. There's a lot of faces, a lot of expressions that I wanted to show. They were excited, they were like laughing, they were looking, they were like, wow, this is amazing. And those little expressions, I wanted every crispy, every single millimeter intact detail. So I pulled out the 5DS-R, okay? If you're shooting a wedding and you have a wedding dress that has some sort of sheen, sort of diffused kind of sheer material in the dress that you can actually see moire patterns when you're looking at it, when it moves, do not use the 5DS-R. That would be a bad idea, bad, okay? If you have a dress like that, pull out the 5DS. The 5DS-R is going to enhance that moire patterny feeling. When you have some fabric with the same frequency, a lot of the same frequency is going to create moire, and the AA filter is designed to cancel that out. This one doesn't have it. I mean, it does have it, but it cancels it out. Bad idea if you're shooting that kind of stuff. You're shooting regular clothing, you're good to go. Only when it's pretty prominent, pretty obvious that there's moire when you see it. If you grab the fabric and you move it around with your thumb and index finger and you can see some funny moire thing going on with your naked eye, the 5DS-R would be the wrong choice, okay? So that's that. Same thing as the 5DS-R, sorry, same thing as the 5DS, but now you know when I would pull out the 5DS-R. Very similar, more detail, less detail in the other one. Amazing. Next camera, we're gonna talk about the 1 series camera. This is Canon's flagship camera. This is, you can tell it's a flagship because of the 1. So if you ever see a camera, if you have a 1, if there's a 1 in the name, it means flagship. It means the best of the best, means you're gonna love it, means you paid a lot of money for it, means you're gonna be very happy, okay? This is the 1DX Mark II, I'm sorry. This is the 1DX Mark II. The X is a hybrid between the other 2 predecessors, and the Mark II is a higher release model of their top of the line camera. Okay, why would I use this? When do I use this camera? Okay, when you have ever-changing lighting conditions, if you're going from inside to outside, if a camera, let's say there's a videographer videotaping something, let's say you're at a wedding again, and the videographer puts a video light and then takes it out, and then he puts a video light back in the scene, and then he takes it out, then he puts a video light back in the scene, then he takes it out. Sorry, it's just those people make me so mad because, have you ever noticed, tangent, have you ever noticed the videographers, like a wedding cinematographers, whatever they like to be called, they put a 35mm lens on their cameras and they're like 3 inches from the subject. Like the people are getting married and you have the camera like right here, like you have like the video camera like right, like you can't take a picture because you see the whole camera. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Okay, let's calm down, people. If you have a videographer putting video light on your scene, if you're in a place where it's cloudy and the clouds are moving and the sun comes out and the sun goes back into a cloud and then ever-changing lighting situations, forget these cameras, 1DX Mark II. Why? 1DX Mark II has the lowest resolution out of all the cameras. This is like 20 something, okay? 20 megapixels, something like that. The point is that the lower the amount of megapixels that the sensor has, okay? So the sensor is a specific size. When you have less megapixels in that sensor, it means that to fill up the sensor, the pixels have to be bigger in order to fill up the same area, right? The bigger the pixels, the more beautiful the pixels are, the more clean and beautiful the image will be, the crisper it will be. And more importantly, and this is why I do it, the highest dynamic range you will have. So if you have a camera that has 50 megapixels, lower dynamic range because the pixels are smaller. So when you try to push those pixels, they're small. Imagine pushing a little kid. Okay, if you have a push a little kid, he's not gonna be able to withstand much. He's gonna fall over. Like I have a baby, he's 9 months old, his name is Lucas. If I was to push him, he's so little, he's so cute. I was to push him, he would fall over, okay? He can't take it. These cameras can't take much dynamic range. They're little pixels, people. Little, chiquito, chiquitito, pixelitos. This one is a big pixel, big man, macho, okay? Big macho pixels means that if you push them, they will stand up to you and say, you want a piece? Would you like a piece? And then you say, and then you run away because they're so big and they're so macho and they're so strong. That's this camera. That's the 1DX Mark II. Another thing is this camera has more frames per second. So why would I use that? I use that rarely, but if you are photographing a blinker, somebody who blinks a lot, if you have a consultation with your subject, model, groom, bride, who cares, whatever you're shooting, and they blink a lot, you have a blinker on your hands, 1DX Mark II, I shoot in bursts, okay? I go prum, 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 anything important, prum, okay, there you go, you shoot it. Photojournalism. Photojournalism, if you are shooting anything that you want to be able to capture people's expressions before they notice that you're taking their photo, 1DX Mark II. You shoot 5, 6, 8, 10. This camera can take 14 frames per second. And in live view, it goes up to 16 frames per second. Stupid, awesome, okay? Why is that important? If you point your camera at someone and you are shooting at that burst, by the time they notice that camera in their face, you already took 20 million photos of them. So their expression is there. To me, whenever there's a lot of emotions happening, a lot of emotions, ceremonies. If you're shooting weddings during the ceremony, something like this would be very important, because if you point your camera at the mom looking at her daughter getting married and she notices the camera is in her face, she's gonna look and get all straightened up and try to like wipe her tears out and clean up her nose or whatever. You're too late. So these cameras take less frames per second. This camera goes like, let me see if I can do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's slow mode. Let me go to fast mode. Actually, I have mine limited actually. So let me see. Yeah, yeah. Listen to that. Oh yeah, okay. Probably shouldn't do that. That's very fast. I mean, you turn around, you turn around, you see somebody have an emotional reaction, and you're sitting here, you see them, boom, 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 what? Boom, what? I'm not here, what? What's that? They don't even know what hit them, okay? So that's when you use that camera, okay? You don't want people to notice you. I mean, they will notice you, but by the time they do, it's too late. They already took 1,000 photos of them. So why would I use the 1DX Mark II? Ever-changing lighting scape. If it's dark, bright, anything that the lighting conditions are changing, there you go. If you want more dynamic range, the contrast points, like the brightest point and the darkest point are very far away apart, and you want to be able to neutralize that, 1DX Mark II. If you're shooting outside and people are like, oh God, it's so cloudy, that stuff, dynamic range can help you with the shadows, bringing shadows back without introducing noise. That's the feature of dynamic range, 1DX Mark II. Okay, when is this a bad idea? 1DX Mark II is a bad idea when you need cropping when you need cropping creativity or flexibility. It only shoots at 20 megapixels, so even though that's plenty, if you're trying to crop into a small section and then blow that up, it may not be your best choice. If you want flexibility in cropping, may not be the best choice. If you want to possibly make a really large print out of it, I would still say it's good enough for really large prints. But if you're trying to crop into a photograph and then print that, not gonna work for you. So there's the reasons why I would not choose that camera. It's just better for capturing moments, speed, things that are moving fast, sports, in a wedding, anything photojournalistic, anything that's highly emotional. There's a lot of emotions flying all over the place, 1DX Mark II. Okay, moving on. Oh, actually, sorry, before I move on, if you need video for whatever reason, okay, if you need video, this camera shoots in 4K, 60 frames per second, and you can do frame grabs that are 8-point-something megapixels each frame grab. So if you are in a situation where you just need to capture everything and you just record video, you could record in 4K, 60 frames per second, pretty amazing. And it also has a CFast card, so it records into the card super fast. It's just a good camera for video. If you need video capabilities on top of your amazing photo capabilities, this is your camera. I've had to actually pull frame grabs whenever I do the photo of the bride and groom kissing when they're about to kiss. I have my second shooter sometimes shoot video of that moment. That way, if there's any amazing expressions, they're on video and I can pull a frame grab out of there. Of course, I'll capture it in photographs too, but it's just a backup. Okay, so there it is. That's the reason why I would do that. There's a million other film capabilities that this camera has, but that's not the point of this video. Okay, so we're moving on. All right, 5D Mark IV. All right, that's this puppy right here. Why do I use this puppy? This is the 5D Mark IV. This is a pretty famous camera, probably the most popular camera. I don't know that as a fact. Probably one of the most popular cameras Canon has as a versatile camera. So this is your choice when it this is like a jack of all trades. It does video really well, okay? You can do video really well on this. You can do photography at 30-something megapixels, okay, on each camera. Actually, let me see what is the, this one can do 30.4 megapixels, okay? 30.4, that's a lot more than this one. It's like 10 megapixels more than the 1DX Mark II. So this one's kind of like your go-to camera for everything, okay? It shoots 30-point-something megapixels, good enough. But what this one does to me more than anything else, and this is why I use this one the most, this is a good camera for business. The reason is this one has Wi-Fi capability. So whenever I'm photographing, let's say you're shooting a wedding again, and you're photographing the wedding details for the wedding coordinator, or the cake for the cake artist, or you're photographing anything that's going to help another vendor make money, I photograph it with a 5D Mark IV. Plenty of resolution, but more importantly, I take an amazing picture and I can immediately send it to my phone, okay? And then my phone, I can airdrop it to their phone. Why do I do that? Because you can get immediate gratification for the wedding coordinators or whoever you're trying to pimp or help them out or whatever. You don't have to wait till the end of the wedding or the 2 days or a week later for them to see and be able to post photos on Instagram. Instagram stories, Twitter, any of that stuff is going to be huge for the coordinators, for the cake artists, for the lighting person, for the floral designer. So if you're taking photos of the flowers and you want to showcase how beautiful and amazing they are, you're helping another vendor. 5D Mark IV. 5D Mark IV. Take the picture, send it to your phone. When the flower person comes, hey, I'll airdrop this to you. They get 25 photos of their latest work happening right there, airdropped to them in full resolution. They can put them in Instagram stories. They can put them in Instagram immediately. They will credit you. They will love you because you just helped their business. So anytime you do that, 5D Mark IV. Whenever you don't need specific jobs, like the lighting is not changing a lot. It's normal, it's good, 5D Mark IV. Whenever you have, whenever you don't want to think about what camera to use for something, 5D Mark IV. If you're tired of thinking, I don't know, okay, the lighting conditions, forget it, 5D Mark IV. Okay, so that's the way I see it. So, not to mention this video is about which one's my favorite camera. Well, it's really about how I use my cameras, but I'm gonna have to go with a 5D Mark IV because I have a little biased. I photographed along with 3 other colleagues the national campaign for the 5D Mark IV. So I'm eternally attached to this camera. I have a human baby, and then I have my 5D Mark IV baby because I took the campaign photos for Canon for this along with 3 other colleagues of mine. The reason why this one would be my favorite is because this one makes me the most money. This one allows me to have great flexibility in cropping. It has pretty good dynamic range. It's like perfect dynamic range. Not as good as the 1DX Mark II, but it has more megapixels. So it all balances everything out. Like I would say these cameras are like specialty cameras, and this is like an overall awesome camera you just go to. This is like your workhorse, okay? This one right here. So if you want to travel, you don't want to take the 1DX Mark II. It's just too heavy. So if you want to travel, you want to take a light camera that can do everything, 5D Mark IV. Most importantly, what I want to say is this one is the perfect balance between video, photography, and business because of the Wi-Fi capabilities. Because that Wi-Fi is there, be able to create my own hotspot right there and send photos to my phone or my iPad, because this can give you to the iPad too. I cannot even tell you how important that is for business, okay? Because you're just sending those things out to people. People are loving you. So I would say my favorite camera, the winner, is the 5D Mark IV, okay? It's a good workhorse and it's a balance between all of these other cameras. If you like this, I'm gonna be posting tons of stuff on my Instagram account. I always put my latest work. Please follow me if you're interested. If you're not interested, boo. If you're interested, also, you're my friend at Roberto_photo. Also, I'm a Capture One ambassador, and if you guys don't know what Capture One is, it's the greatest RAW editor in the world. Can't explain that right now, but just trust me. If you're photographing with any Canon, Nikon, Sony, whatever camera you have, Capture One just blows everything else out there out of the water, in my opinion. If you would like to purchase Capture One, I'm going to be offering a discount code all the time. The discount code is AMBROVA, as it says on the screen. Okay, AMBROVA. AMB stands for ambassador, and then ROVA is for Roberto Valenzuela. So you can see it on the screen, and I'll also put it on the YouTube screen. With that being said, guys, you're welcome to check out my website at robertovalenzuela.com/workshops. I teach 2 kinds of workshops. I teach a large variety of workshops in posing all over the country, mostly LA, New York, Washington, D.C., something in Texas, maybe so Florida, something like that. I teach 1 or 2 in Europe. Then I teach 1 lighting class. I teach it 2 times, but I teach 1 lighting class. That's a very special class. It's in Tucson, Arizona. We rent out a dude ranch, and we are all together in this ranch where we specialize and we focus 100% in all things lighting to make you a lighting ninja. It's a 2-day class. All of them are 2 days. The workshop in Tucson is beautiful. Check out my other YouTube videos. There's some videos promoting that Tucson lighting class there. You can check it out on YouTube on my channel. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed these videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It was sure fun for me to make this video. And let me know in the comments if you are enjoying this. If you have any questions you would like me to make a video on, I will try to make videos on questions. Some people have some great questions, and that will make a great video. So why not? So let me know what you like. And if you found this interesting, please let me know so I can feel good about spending 4 hours making this video. Thank you so much, guys. I love you all. And I'll see you next time. Bye.